This video is about the 90 and 9 plus Dennis. Not too long after we arrived in Moline, I was approached by one of the brothers on a Sunday evening service that, hey, this young guy came here and he wants to pray, receive Christ, and I wondered if you would you come and help me talk to him. And I said, sure. So I met Dennis, and kind of a tall guy, long hair, and kind of looked really rugged. But he did receive Christ. I prayed with him, and he received the Lord. And he began to be he was there all the time. And he particularly liked to come to my office. He'd come in, put his feet up on my desk, and say, Dennis, you know, we don't do that. Please take your feet down. All right. All right, Kingsbury. So we spent a lot of time together, and he was, to say the least, a kind of a diamond in the rough. I mean, he was really rough. Had a terrible background on the streets, horrible background in his family life and all of that. He was they say he was like a con man. He could con an alcoholic off his last drink. He was violent. I mean, he at one point threw his brother through the plate glass window of his home, and therefore forbidden to ever come there by his brother's wife. And he did things like he went up to this upscale uptown. I mean, Moline, and there's about 3 or 4 blocks where there was businesses on each side of the street. He went along and broke out all these plate glass windows with a sledgehammer. Did a little time for that, of course. There were other things where he got in trouble, and he just was really, really in the rough, and all that, of course, happened before he came to Christ. But he was still pretty rugged. And I can remember once Dr. Hollis came up to me and said, "Jim, are you sure that this guy Dennis is a Christian? Are you sure he's saved?" I said, "Yes, sir. I'm sure he is." I understand why you're asking that question, however, and I want to tell you, I'm praying, I'm working with him, and I believe we're going to see the change come. I think there'll be scales that'll fall off his life, and I'm committed to help him, to work with him on that. So several months later, we all agreed that there was something happening. Dennis really was um, making really some move toward, of course, Christ likeness. And I can remember one day he asked me to come with him to see his probation officer. So we went into the office, and he apparently hadn't been there in a long time. He was way overdue for that visit. And I just noticed 2 or 3 ladies in the front, the staff, they just separated. They just moved away toward the wall as Dennis kind of comes in the way he was, and big guy, and me. So his parole officer brought us into his office and said to me, "Who are you?" And I see Dennis goes, "He's my preacher." I said, "You're his preacher?" I said, "Well, I'm a pastor of the church that Dennis is a part of." "Dennis goes to church?" I said, "Yes, sir." "And he's involved in Bible studies?" "No way." I said, "Yeah, he really is." And I said, "I know he's been a while since he's been here, and he's committed to turning his life around through faith in Christ, and I just want to know, is there any incumbent on me? Can I help? But he needs to square with you and make it right. So what do you want from him? What can he do?" So the guy was really kind and still couldn't believe it when we left. So I just have a hard time imagining you two together. And out we went. And Dennis didn't get in trouble after that. Um, One of the things he did was kind of fun. Was he would always come to my office and interrupt whatever I was doing. So I was developing some Bible studies with 3 or 4 of the people, especially those who worked night shift, couldn't come to evening services or Bible study. But I had 16 of them, 17 of them that I was working with in 4 different groups. And Dennis joined one of those groups and came in the afternoon, 1 day a week for a Bible study that I directed. And then he came in one day and he says, "I got to talk to you." I says, "No, man, I got to leave. I'm going to a nursing home to do a Bible study." And I said, "You want to go with me?" He goes, "Yeah." So he came and we walked in, and he was a charmer, really. I could see where a con man he could become that, but he was just, he had a certain charisma. I liked the guy, except he was, like I said, pretty rough. So he comes in there. We had this couple, the Runyons, that came in. And the nurses brought him in, but in their wheelchairs. They're both in their 90s. Then I said, "I'll help," and he goes in there and he wheels the Runyons in. He started going with me regularly to that nursing home and another one. And we'd walk in, he goes, okay, I'll go get the Runyon. And we'd have around, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 people that they would gather for these little devotionals that I would do. And Dennis went with me. Now, when I left Moline to go to Florida Seminary, Dennis, he continued. He went back and I don't know what he did exactly in terms of the Bible content, but he'd come and he would meet with them and talk to them and give some kind of a devotional, I guess. And he did that for years, as I understand it. So this video is about the 99 plus Dennis. He was the one. He was the one.